Hello and welcome to LFC Focus. Liverpool have now found out their fate through the Champions League group stage draw. They know the three teams that they have been drawn against in the group, and they are in Group E, I believe it is, and the teams they'll be coming up against are, in order from top to bottom, Spartak Moscow, Sevilla and NK Maribor. And all things considered, I mean, that is an absolutely fantastic group, especially when you look at some of the other possible permutations Liverpool have got. I mean, just for one single example, Spurs have got a group with Real Madrid and Borussia Dortmund in, and that is not just the only group of death there is. There are a lot of other groups out there that looked absolutely horrendous. I mean, there was one with, I think, Bayern Munich and PSG in the same one as well, and when you saw those groups being drawn, you thought, wait, Liverpool are going to get these. You just know Liverpool are going to get these because the cynic in you was biting away and thinking, of course, we're going to get a group of death. But no, Liverpool have actually got a very decent group. I mean, obviously, Shakhtar Donetsk are coming from pot one, the sort of Champions pot, which is, I think, the Champions League winners plus the champions from the top leagues all around Europe. And so Spartak Moscow is probably one of the best teams we could have got from that pot, considering there are other teams like Real Madrid or Juventus or Bayern Munich, teams like that in that pot. To have got Spartak Moscow from that is probably one of the best results we possibly could have gotten. And then the second pot as well was arguably better than the first, because it did also have teams like Barcelona, Atletico Madrid, Man U and Man City were also in that pot as well, although Liverpool obviously couldn't draw them. You had PSG in that pot, you had Borussia Dortmund in that pot. So again, Sevilla are an absolutely fantastic team to get out of that. Obviously, I think they're in that pot through virtue of their multiple Europa League final wins. Obviously, one of those was against Liverpool, so we will actually get the chance to finally get our revenge for that Europa League final defeat a couple of seasons ago now. So that is very good as well. And then NK Maribor, just checked on Google Maps to see where they're actually from. They're from Slovenia. Not a huge trek, actually, as well, which is another hugely important thing. I mean, obviously, Spartak Moscow is in Russia. It's a bit of a trek to get there. But other than that, Sevilla and NK Maribor of Slovenia are both teams that will be fairly easy to get to and hopefully won't lead to the squad getting too worn out, because obviously squad depth is something, given how the transfer window is something that is very much on, I think, the minds of a lot of Liverpool fans at the moment. But the thing that really stands out for me from this group is that the fact that there's no big names in there, there's no big hitters. I know some people kind of wanted maybe at least one of Real Madrid or Barcelona or Bayern Munich, a team like that, so we were at least guaranteed one big set of European nights, 2 European nights against one of the biggest teams in Europe. But the thing with, if we'd got one of those teams in our group, it would have basically killed off our chances, barring any freak incidents, of coming first in the group. And as we all know from how Arsenal have fared when they frequently have come second in their group, that can massively affect your chances in the Champions League, because it does determine who you get in the round of 16. If you come second, you get a team that came first in their group, and by and large, you will struggle in the round of 16. So the fact that there are no huge teams in Liverpool's group means that we now have a fairly decent chance of coming first, which means we also have a fairly decent chance of getting a favourable draw in the round of 16, which means we have a fairly decent chance of getting into the quarterfinals. Obviously, I'm thinking ahead an awful lot here. It all does come down to how Liverpool play on the night, because at the end of the day, this is the Champions League. As we saw with Hoffenheim, who are a team who didn't even make it past the playoffs because they lost to Liverpool, there are no easy teams in the Champions League. You're not going to get the Burnley of Slovenia or the Stoke City of Iceland or anything like that. You will always be facing really good teams, but the fact that we don't have any of those big hitters is huge for us, because it gives us a decent chance if we perform to the best of our ability, which, given how we played against Hoffenheim, I think we now all know that we can on European nights. We could come first in that group, and we could actually progress to the latter stages of the competition. And while obviously I do want to see Liverpool at least try and go all the way to the final, I'd like to see us challenge this year in the Champions League. To at least get to the quarterfinals, I think, would represent a hugely successful season, especially given that with the squad depth that we are currently left with, if we don't sign any more players between now and the end of the transfer window, we will be stretched if we want to try and challenge across all four fronts of the Champions League, the domestic cups and the Premier League as well. So to get to the quarterfinals, I think, would be ace. And I mean, while we're not going to get huge European nights in the group stage because of the teams that we've drawn, when you get to the quarterfinals, it doesn't matter who you face, it will be a big night no matter what. So a fantastic draw for Liverpool. I think pretty much everyone all round is absolutely chuffed with it. Probably one of the best groups we could have drawn out of all of them, because like I said, there are some absolute group of deaths out there, taking Spurs as just one example of those. So fantastic draw, and just hugely excited now to see what Liverpool are going to get up to in their Champions League campaign, and fingers crossed it'll turn out better than the last one under Brendan Rodgers. So that is all for today's video. Thank you very much for watching. I will be back very shortly with all the pre-match content, the pre-match build-up video and the FIFA predictor for the game against Arsenal, so stay tuned for that. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, then hit that subscribe button there. Check out some of the other videos that have been out on the channel in the past few days. Don't forget to like this video if you did enjoy it. Follow at LFC Focus TV on Twitter as well, and I'll see you in a bit for all the pre-match content for the game against Arsenal. Bye for now.